Welcome to another Sunday WOAY ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another distinguished guest. Dr. Christy Dumas, who is the Executive Director of CASA New River, joins us this morning back on the forum. You know, you've been here before, so
I have.
It's wonderful to have you again talking about CASA New River. It's an important organization, and some people out there may not be familiar with it. So can you give them the rundown?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again to talk about this important program for Raleigh County. CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates. And we have advocates who give top tier advocacy for children who have been abused and neglected. So our advocates work with children who have open cases in circuit court that are abuse and neglect cases. So all of the children are either in foster care or in some sort of kinship placement where they've been removed from their parents and guardians because of the abuse and neglect. And we are excited to be forging this journey of reconciliation in Raleigh County. It has been a huge lift to get the program started, but we're already seeing such great success, and we are happy to be making an impact in the community.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And, it's really important for these kids to, have advocates going through these really difficult times in their lives. And I know that CASA New River is the first, chapter in Raleigh County, well, pretty much in Southern West Virginia, correct?
There is a local program in Greenbrier County, but that would be the closest to us, and then those are the only ones in our area.
And you kind of took on a big role with getting this started. From where you started at to now in 2025, what has changed?
Lots has changed. Lots of things have changed. I'm excited that we actually have advocates that have been sworn in and are working cases. Before, I was a one-man band. I was doing all the things, being the executive director, being the advocate. And so now I'm able to share the wealth with other people. We have folks who are in training now to be advocates, and we will be swearing in another group of advocates at the beginning of February. So that's more boots on the ground, more impact that we can make. We have started another program. Most people hear CASA and they know about our court work. They know about our advocacy. They know about our, building rapport with children and becoming part of their lives until they reach permanency. But a lot of people don't realize that CASA programs across the country have programs in addition to the work that they do in the court and being the eyes and the ears of the judge and the voice of the child in the courtroom. So we have launched a program called In CASA. It is a Spanish spin on the word, meaning, home. And we asked our board, what feels important? What work beyond being in the courtroom and building this rapport feels important? And I have a board member, in fact, our board president, who grew up in foster care. And when I asked her, what is the one thing while being in foster care that you wish you had that you didn't? And her answer was so simple, but yet so profound. She said, room decor. Nothing in the room ever belonged to me. I moved from placement to placement and foster home to foster home. Nothing in the room belonged to me. Nothing reflected my personality and who I was and my dreams and, my desires. There was nothing to put on the wall, or there was nothing to put on the dresser or the bedside. So we actually have a program called In CASA where children in foster care can come and they can shop, no money needed, in our staged bedroom, and they can take what they want to have for their own. to put in their rooms in wherever they're living and hopefully take with them until they reach permanency. So I'm excited about all of the things that we're doing and the ways that we are expanding and developing our program.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And is there any way that, any of us watching or me particularly can help you all out with the CASA? Are you taking any donations?
Sure. We're always taking donations, and I've been here a couple of times with the different hats that I wear. I came as the Rotary Club president, and actually our local Rotary Club just did a collection for us for CASA and giving us room decor. We're always accepting donations for CASA and our other endeavors. So you can reach out to the CASA program. Email is probably easiest. We are in and out. The phone is probably not the best way to get a hold of us. We're in court or we're with kids, so it's hard to man that all the time, but they can certainly email the program, Dr. Dumas at casaofnewriver.onmicrosoft.com.
Awesome. So anybody, especially crafters out there, because we have a big crafting community. So if you guys are making any type of room decor and you want to, give to a good cause, get in touch with CASA and, help these kids out. Because something so, minor, something you wouldn't even think of, like room decor, can mean the world to them.
A pillow,
anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And speaking of the advocates, you said that you got some more people coming in, and if there's anybody out there that will be interested in becoming an advocate, what is the process for that?
So the process is they can find us on Facebook. That is probably one of the other easiest ways to get in touch with us. We have a very robust and active page. The first step is just to indicate some interest. After you've indicated some interest, and we talk a little bit about the time commitment, how many hours in a month that it will take, we would ask you to fill out an application. We do have a volunteer advocate application, and after reviewing the application, we do an interview. We want to get to know the person. We want to get to know more about their passion for advocacy, know a little bit about their story. And after the interview, we will then talk about the training. We do a very robust training, about 40 hours, and also some court time and observation time before swearing in. And that's the difference between CASA of New River as a child advocacy group and some of the other advocacy entities that are in the community. We are actually sworn officers of the court. And so we report to the court, we report to the judge, and we really are workers of the court and in the community, very specifically with abuse and neglect. I hear the question often, well, there's an advocacy center over there. What is the difference? The difference is we are officers of the court, and we are in every aspect of the child's life. Our advocates are at school, they are at the doctor's office, clinically they are asking what the treatment plan is, what are the goals that we are working on. And their ultimate goal is to get that child to permanency, whether it is being returned to their biological parents who have completed their improvement period that was ordered by the court, or if it's a kinship placement, or if it's adoption. We are there until the end, until the goal of permanency is met. So there's a lot of work that is done. We submit court reports to the court so that they know our findings, and we make recommendations based on the findings that we have. And so it is a very comprehensive and a very thorough program to meet permanency goals and safety.
That's really interesting how you say that the goal is to give them that permanency.
Yes.
But you're also with them the entire time, so you're already kind of giving that, just being the advocate,
Sure.
and you're with them the entire
giving them that stability and trying to model for them what constancy looks like. It is a rewarding experience, and we have already, in our short amount of time, seen a lot of success.
And what type of, impact do you see on, some of these children that, have had these advocates helping them and speaking out for them?
So there's a lot of research that supports the fact that children with advocates who have been abused and neglected fare much better than children who do not. Most of that revolves around the fact that advocates make sure that resources are in place. Safety is a paramount issue, making sure that they're safe in foster care, making sure that they're safe when they go back home. We see a lot of success and increase in scholastic achievement. Just having resources and having the advocate, making sure that educational and academic goals are being met, and that any deficiencies are being identified and addressed. So surely, someone with an advocate who is in the system just has marginally better chances and better outcomes.
And I think they feel like there's somebody in their corner that they can trust.
And that they can talk to and that they know is going to be there and is going to be consistent. One of the things that has been a little bit frustrating for us in getting started on cases is finding out who all of the players are. When a case is first open, you see certain social workers, you see certain attorneys, and throughout the course of the case, those things change. Different people are appointed. Social workers who do intakes are not necessarily the ones who keep the case and work with the child. So all the pieces are always moving and changing, but CASA remains the same. CASA is constant. And those are the things that we want to hold dear, and those are the things that we want to promote, and for people to know about the program, and the things that children cherish the most, that things are constantly changing in their world, but the one thing that they can rely on, depend on, that is going to stay the same is CASA.
Wonderful. Awesome. We're about a minute or so out from our first break, but before we go, do you mind plugging that contact information so we can get you some more advocates?
Sure. Find us on Facebook, CASA of New River, or email Dr. Dumas at casaofnewriver.onmicrosoft.com.
Awesome. All right, you all stay tuned. I will be right back here with Dr. Dumas talking more about CASA of New River and how they are helping out the kids who need it the most. Welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with Dr. Christy Dumas, the Executive Director of CASA New River, and we're talking about everything that the organization does. Now, we're segueing a little bit into, it's 2025. We have a lot of new lawmakers, a new governor, new everything, honestly. And while CASA is not a partisan group, there are going to be a lot of laws and a lot of things going on during the legislative session that will impact your group. So what are some of the things that you all are looking at?
So I'm glad that you mentioned that we are not partisan and we are not political. However, with the legislative session coming up, there are some policies that, should they make it out of committee and be introduced, we will be watching and frankly be a little concerned about. One of them in particular that there is no bill for yet in this session, but we have seen in the past, in the last legislative session, is the school discipline bill. We are concerned about that as an entity because we believe that if enacted could very seriously, disproportionately affect children in foster care and those who have experienced trauma. When I think about my child's behavior, he is well behaved, has never had a referral, and nothing disciplinary to be really alarmed about. But I think about the fact that he has nothing on his mind except for sports, snacks after school, getting to play the video game on the weekend. Those are the things that consume his time and his attention, and those are the things that run through his mind even during the course of the day and at school. On his mind is not the fact that he is going to be returning to a house where he does not know the family. Through his mind, he is not replaying being taken and removed from his family. He's not at all considering what he's going, if he's going to be able to eat. He may think about what he's going to eat because he's greedy, but he's not thinking about whether he's going to be able to eat or not. He's not thinking about whether or not I am going to be sober when he gets home, or if he is going to have to be parentified and take care of the rest of the kids because I'm high. He's not having to think about where his dad is or if he'll ever see him again because he lives in the house with us. So when you think about the contrast in children who have experienced trauma and the way that their prefrontal cortex is set up and perhaps underdeveloped, or the growth of it is stunted because of what they have experienced, it goes without saying that discipline is going to be an issue for children who have experienced trauma and lack coping mechanisms and lack the ability to self-regulate and deal with dysregulated emotion all the time. And so any policy that says more discipline is the key as opposed to more resources is concerning. And that's always going to be a concern for children who are underrepresented and who have experienced trauma and have no real voice in the legislative room. That's always going to be a concern because our goal is to always be the voice of the child and to always vie for their best interest. So if we have policies that are already set up for them to fail, that's an issue. It's a problem. It's certainly something that we are going to be watching, that we are going to be concerned about, and that we are going to talk about, that we're going to have discussions, hopefully with people who have power to make the decisions.
Absolutely. I hope we can get in those rooms and have those conversations because, these kids really need it. And I love how you mentioned that, a lot of these kids are experiencing trauma. They are experiencing things that some adults can't even really cope with. So, how do you expect them to behave in a classroom setting if they have all these things on their mind and
Absolutely.
They don't know how to, cope with it?
And they're watching adults who haven't followed the rules, and that's what's being modeled for them. How do you model something different? And how do you do that? How do you change things around without adding the resources? It's hard to watch our schools lose funding for counselors, lose funding for psychologists, lose funding for systems and schools and resources. We've seen whole programs leave schools that have poverty levels of 80%. 80% of your children are living at or below the poverty level, but yet we don't have the counselors and the resources in the school to balance out what is happening that's beyond the school's control.
Definitely. So I really hope that some state lawmakers, hopefully they'll be watching this right now and they say like, you know what, we need to get in touch with CASA New River and
Yes.
we need to address these issues because these kids are really important and unfortunately sometimes they're not made to feel as important as they really
Sure.
are. So if we can get them where they're supposed to be and get them on this platform, that'd be awesome. And are there any specific initiatives or programs that you all are, thinking about or planning to expand on? I know you talked about in CASA, but is there anything else, if money was no object, you had all the resources that you needed, what are some things that you would love to see CASA New River do going forward?
We do have plans to do more engaging with foster parents and talking to them about preventing more abuse, right? One of the things that we know is that children are susceptible once abused to further abuse. And that it can happen in foster care. It can happen when they are in a system that is supposed to be designed to protect them. That is one of the goals of CASA of New River, is to decrease the amount of time that children are spending in foster care, to make sure that they're safe while they're in foster care, and to also make sure that they are not being abused while in foster care. We hear stories, unfortunately, all of the time. And so that is one of the program expansions, is being able to talk to foster parents about prevention, connect them with resources in the community, and also give them an outlet and a time to process the challenges of fostering, and also the rewards of it.
So that's wonderful, because I think you'll be able to really see like what these parents are about, and you can also like help them with any any
Sure.
potential issues that may be going on, or just offer solutions. So I think that'll be even greater, and it may also help your workload and things like that, because you got wonderful foster parents that are taking care of these kids,
You do.
and you're all working together as a team.
We are, and there are always calls for more foster parents, right? You can never have enough. As we watch our system, bulge in places, there needs to be more caring and more reliable and responsible foster parents. So, and I see signs all the time from different agencies looking for foster parents. Certainly it's a need, and it's going to continue to be a need as we fight the war against opioids and other illicit substances that have ravaged our community and certainly our county. We want to partner with foster parents and fortify them and let them know that the challenges that they feel, they're not experiencing in a vacuum. There are others out there, but there are also resources and people that are willing to help and give them an outlet. So we want to be pioneers of bridging those gaps for people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I believe last time we talked about how local organizations and things like that can help you all out and sponsor.
Sure.
What would be the process for that, if there are any businesses out there watching right now?
Oh, just call us. Call us, email us, message us. They can, talk to any of our board members, any of our advocates are able to lead them in the direction to give, to donate. We are still having our founder campaign, our founding donor campaign. We've had several people who have given significantly to CASA of New River, and they are part of our founding donors. And so there are perks at every level of giving, so we're happy to talk to people about that. And I can't express how important it is to have business, private donors for our organization. There are lots of grants out there, and we could write 1 million grants. A lot of grantors do not like to pay for operational costs, for personnel or salary, but we know that it takes that to make a program work. We are appreciative of all of our grantors that have given us programmatic money for the thrusts that we are very passionate about, and it does help with program development. But having those funds that can be used to expand our program with people and manpower is most optimal. And so we welcome any company, any private citizen who would like to donate so that we can use those funds to really expand. The more advocates we have, the more impact we make. The more advocates we have, the more children that we can see to permanency. We have had huge success already. 80% of our cases in 6 months have already reached permanency. I am meeting with the judge today to re-up on cases because we have seen such success with getting children out of the system, out of foster care, into permanent placement, and most of them have been returned to their biological parents.
That is wonderful news.
It is.
Congratulations to you all. And thank you all for, all the work that you do, because it's super important. And I know last time we also talked about trying to expand out of Raleigh County. And is there any way that any of us can help you all with that?
Well, listen, we are looking to move into both Fayette and Mercer counties. We are looking for allies in those areas, people who either know about CASA or are curious or interested. Certainly advocates. We will have to do a needs assessment and make sure that we would be able to sustain, and that's the big part of it, right? Is it's one thing to found a program, it's another to be able to sustain it. We want to have a sustainability plan of 3 to 5 years, just to make sure that we can keep advocates, that we can keep the resources to make sure that the program is sustained. So we're still in that phase in Raleigh County, making sure that we can sustain this program, and I would want a good sure footing and hold on that before I move out. But that's part of our vision. Part of our vision is to be in all of Southern West Virginia. And so
awesome. Well, I hope we can get you there soon.
Yes, keep having us back to talk about the program, and I think we can do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are about to end our show, but before we go, do you mind plugging that contact information one more time?
Sure. Find us on Facebook, CASA of No River. It is a very robust page, and we are quick with responses. Or email Dr. Dumas at casaofnewriver.onmicrosoft.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming back to the forum.
Thank you for
having me. Anytime. And thank you all for joining us this Sunday. Be sure to tune in next week where we speak to more local success stories and community leaders about important information here in Southern West Virginia. Happy Sunday.